Hi friends, designing an elevator system is a very common question asked during interviews. In this tutorial, we'll be designing and implementing an elevator system in Java. For this, I'll be taking reference of my website javastructures.com. So go to system design. In the system design section, we'll be covering quite a few design questions which are asked during interviews. So today we'll be discussing the elevator system design. Nowadays, system design questions are a regular part of the interview process at various organizations. They test the individual's ability to design, visualize, simulate real-world scenarios, use the correct data structures, as well as apply the design patterns. So these questions, they are generally open-ended. Usually the interview asks the candidates to design the system using whiteboard. It may be even kind of pair programming where the interviewer also gives his input. The depth of the design solution needed, it depends on the interviewer. So some interviewers might be satisfied only if you draw the class diagram or just give them the design on the whiteboard, but some they need the implementation details also. So in this tutorial, we'll first be designing an elevator system and also implementing the actual solution using Java. This tutorial we have divided it in 5 parts. So first we'll be discussing how to simulate the elevator design, that is what all are the scenarios involved. Then we'll be identifying the classes involved. Then we'll be starting with the actual code. So here the code will be developing it in iteration. So we'll be having 3 iterations so that it is much easier to understand. So let us begin with the first part, that is simulating the elevator design. So consider the scenario. A person is on a particular floor. Suppose he's on the ground floor, that is the 0th floor, and he wants to go to the 5th floor. So what does he do? He clicks on the elevator button with the up direction. So usually in buildings you will see that there are buttons like this, right? So if you want to go on the 5th floor, we'll click on this up button and the elevator will then arrive. We'll be calling this the external request. So this request, it will be having the direction, that is whether the user he wants to go in the up direction or the down direction depending on the button that he has pressed, and also the floor on which this button has been pressed. So in our case, the user he has pressed this button on the ground floor, that is the 0th floor. So this floor will be calling as the source floor. So in our case, the source floor, it will be the ground floor. The elevator will check if there are any available requests, and if there are any available requests, then depending on some priority, it will decide whether to accept this request or not. If suppose the elevator it accepts this request, then the elevator it will reach the source floor, that is the ground floor, and the person will then enter the elevator. Once the person he enters the elevator, he will be pressing the button to indicate the destination floor, that is the floor on which the person wants to go. So we'll be calling this request as the internal request. The internal request, it will be having only the floor to which the person wants to go, that is the destination floor. The elevator will then move to the 5th floor and the person will then exit the elevator once he reaches the destination floor. Consider a scenario where the elevator it is moving from the ground floor to the 5th floor. So for this request which it is processing, the source floor is the ground floor and the destination floor is the 5th floor. Suppose the lift it has just reached the 1st floor. At this moment, suppose another person on the 2nd floor who wants to go in the up direction, he clicks on the up button of the elevator. Then the elevator it will stop for this request and the person on the 2nd floor he will enter the elevator. Suppose this person he presses the 4th floor button. So we'll be having another request where the source floor is the 2nd floor and the destination floor is the 4th floor. So the elevator it will first process the second request, that is the elevator it will first stop at the 4th floor, which is the destination of the person who entered on the 2nd floor, and later the elevator will again stop on the 5th floor, which was the destination floor of the person who had requested it on the ground floor. So here we are processing 2 requests. Next we'll be identifying the classes that are involved in the elevator design. So the first is an enum named direction. So this enum it will be having 2 values, up and down. It will represent the direction in which the elevator is moving. Next is a class named external request. So this external request it will represent the request made by the person from the floor when he requests for the elevator by pressing either the up or the down button. So when the user he presses this up or down button, that will be there in the external request. It will be having 2 fields, enum direction and the integer source flow. So we have already defined the direction here. So one field will be this direction and other will be the source flow, that is the floor from which the user has requested for the elevator. Next is the internal request. So this class it will represent the request made by the person when he enters the elevator and presses the destination flow. So it will be having only a single field. It will be an integer and will be naming it as destination flow. Next we have a class request. So this class, it will encapsulate the external request and the internal request. So here we have already defined the external request and the internal request. So we'll be encapsulating both the external request and internal request in a request class. Next we are defining an enum named state. So this enum, it will be having three values: moving, stopped and idle. So this will define the state of the elevator. So if it is in moving, it is currently moving from one floor to another, then it will be moving. If it has stopped, so that a person can enter or exit the elevator, then it will be stop state. And if there are no more requests to process, then it will be in the idle state. Finally we have the elevator class. So this class, it will represent the elevator. It will be having the fields current location, current state and the current direction. So actually this is not current location, it is current flow. So the current floor will indicate currently the elevator is on which floor. Then direction, whether the elevator it is moving in the up direction or the down direction. And the state, whether the elevator is one of these three states. So these are the some of the classes that are involved in the elevator design. Now let us consider a similar scenario. Here the elevator, it is again moving from the ground floor to the fifth floor. So again this particular request, the source floor is the ground floor and the destination floor is the fifth floor, and it has reached the first floor. At this moment, suppose another person on the second floor, he wants to go in the down direction. So he will be pressing the down button of the elevator. So the elevator this time, it will not stop for this request immediately. The elevator, it will first go to the fifth floor, where the person who had entered on the ground floor will exit. Then the elevator will go to the second floor, and here then this person, he will enter the elevator and press 0. So then the elevator will move to the 0th floor. So here again we are processing two different requests, but the sequence is different. Next we'll be identifying the classes that are involved in the elevator design. So the first is an enum named direction. So this enum, it will be having two values, up and down. It will represent the direction in which the elevator is moving. Next is a class named external request. So this external request, it will represent the request made by the person from the floor when he requests for the elevator by pressing either the up or the down button. So when the user, he presses this up or down button, that will be there in the external request. It will be having two fields, enum direction and the integer source flow. So we have already defined the direction here. So one field will be this direction and other will be the source flow, that is the floor from which the user has requested for the elevator. Next is the internal request. So this class, it will represent the request made by the person when he enters the elevator and presses the destination flow. So it will be having only a single field. It will be an integer and we'll be naming it as destination flow. Next we have a class request. So this class, it will encapsulate the external request and the internal request. So here we have already defined the external request and the internal request. So we'll be encapsulating both the external request and internal request in a request class. Next we are defining an enum named state. So this enum, it will be having three values, moving, stopped and idle. So this will define the state of the elevator. So if it is in moving, it is currently moving from one floor to another, then it will be moving. If it has stopped, so that a person can enter or exit the elevator, then it will be stop state. And if there are no more requests to process, then it will be in the idle state. Finally we have the elevator class. So this class, it will represent the elevator. It will be having the fields current location, current state and the current direction. So actually this is not current location, it is current flow. So the current floor will indicate currently the elevator is on which floor. Then direction, whether the elevator it is moving in the up direction or the down direction. And the state, whether the elevator is one of these three states. So these are some of the classes that are involved in the elevator design. Next we'll be implementing the elevator design code. So this will be the first iteration, and here we'll be creating the classes that we had identified previously. So these were all the classes that we had identified previously. First is the enum named direction. So go to Eclipse and create a new class. Package will be com.java structures. And the name of the class, we'll just keep it as test elevator. So this is the enum direction that we'll be creating. It will be having two fields, up and down. So copy this. The next class that we'll be creating is the external request. So it will be having the field source floor and the direction field. So Yeah, this is the external request. Here we have two fields, direction to go and the source flow, along with the getters and setters and the constructor. So here it has two fields, and here we have the constructor and the getters and setters. Next is the internal request. So here we have a single field, destination flow, and also we have the constructor and the getter setter for this class. Next we'll be creating the class named as request, which will be having the internal request and the external request as the fields. So here we have the request class. As discussed, it has two fields, the internal request and the external request. For this we have the constructor and also the getter setters. Also for this class we are implementing the comparable interface. So here we have implemented this compare to method here. Later when we'll be sending this request to the elevator, we'll be storing them in a tree set. So for that we are implementing this comparator interface and implementing this compare to method. So here based on the destination flow we'll be sorting this request and executing them accordingly. Let us create this request class. So we are done with the first iteration for the elevator design code. For the second iteration, we'll be adding the logic to start the elevator and process any job if it is available. We'll first be modifying the elevator class. So in the elevator class, we'll be adding 3 queues, and all these 3 queues, they will be of type tree set, and they will be taking the request object. The current jobs, it will hold all the requests that are being currently executed by the elevator. The up pending jobs, it will hold all the up jobs which cannot be processed now, so they are put in a pending queue. Similarly, the down pending jobs, they will hold all the down jobs which cannot be processed now, so they are put in a pending queue. So let us create these 3 job queues first. So here in the elevator class, create the 3 queues of type tree set, import the tree set. Next we'll be creating a method named start elevator. So we'll be calling this method whenever we want to start the elevator. So inside this method, here we have written while true because we want this method to always be in executing state once it has been called. Once the elevator has been started, we'll be checking if the current job queue, it has any jobs or request inside it. If it has, then these should be processed. So here using the check if job, we are checking if the current jobs, it has any request or not. So if it is empty, then we'll be returning false, else it will be returning true. So here if this check if job, if it returns true, it means that yes, there are some jobs or requests which should be processed by the elevator. So if there are any requests in the current job queue, then we'll be processing them. If the elevator it is moving in the up direction, then we'll be processing them differently. Similarly, if the elevator it is moving in the down direction, then we'll be processing them differently. So first let us have a look how we are going to process the request if the elevator it is moving in the up direction. If the elevator it is moving in the up direction, then we'll be getting the request object from the current jobs by calling the poll first method. So here we'll be getting the request which should be processed by the elevator. This request object will be passing to a method named as process up request. So here we have defined the process up request. So in the process up request method, the elevator it will be processing this request. Before this request it can be processed by the elevator, we'll first have to check whether the elevator it is on the floor on which the person is, that is the source floor. So suppose a person, he is on the second floor and he wants to go on the 5th floor. So before we can process the request to go on the 5th floor, the elevator it should first reach the second floor, that is the source floor. So here first we'll be checking and confirming if the lift it has reached the second floor or the source floor, and then later on we'll be processing this request. So here first we'll be initializing a int variable named start floor to the current floor. So suppose the current floor is 0 and the source floor it is second. So we'll be checking if the start floor it is less than the source floor. So 0 will be less than the second floor. Then we'll be starting a for loop where the initial value will be the start floor, and we'll be incrementing this value I by 1 till it reaches the source floor. So till it is less than equal to the source floor, we'll be incrementing it, and inside this for loop we'll just be printing that we have reached this particular floor I, and also we'll be updating the value of the current floor to the value I. So the elevator it is moving in the upward direction, so the current floor we are just updating it. Also in the for loop, after each increment we'll be calling the thread.sleep method here. So once this for loop gets completed, we'll be sure now that the elevator it has reached the floor where the person has requested it, that is the source floor, and then the person he can enter the elevator and go to the destination flow. Next, we have again initialized the start flow to the current flow, and similar to what we have done before, we are again writing a for loop where the initial value of I, it is again equal to start flow, and now we'll be incrementing the value of I till it reaches the destination flow. So once it reaches the destination flow, it means that our request, it has been processed successfully. So here in the for loop, we have again given thread.sleep, and then here we are just printing the value of I. We have reached the floor I, and also we are updating the current value of I. Consider the scenario where the elevator, it is moving from the ground floor to the fifth floor, and it has just reached the first floor. A person on the second floor, he wants to go on the fourth floor, so he has requested for the elevator. So the elevator, it should first process the request where the user, he wants to go on the from the second to the fourth floor, and then later on process the request where the destination floor is the fifth floor. So here we'll be checking if there are any new requests that should be processed by the elevator. So this check if new job can be processed. If this request, if this method it returns true, then we'll be breaking from this for loop, because we then do not want to process this request first, but we want to process some other request, and then later we'll be wanting to process this particular request. So let us check this, check if new job can be processed request, to which we'll be passing the current request. So here we have the check if new job can be processed, to which we are passing the current request. Here again we'll be checking if the current job queue, it has any requests or not. If there are no requests, then obviously no new jobs can be processed by the elevator. But suppose if there are some requests which can be processed by the elevator, then we'll go inside this loop. Here again we are checking the direction of the elevator. Suppose the direction of the elevator is up, that is, it is moving in the up direction, then from the current jobs we'll be getting the request by calling the poll first method, and this new request will be checking if its destination flow, it is less than the destination floor of the current request, because the elevator, it is moving in the up direction. So if this condition where the destination flow of the new request, it is less than the destination floor of the current request, if it is true, then in the current jobs we'll be adding the new request as well as the current request and returning true. That is, yes, a new job should be processed first, and this current request, it should be processed later. So break from this loop and first execute this. So we'll again go in this while loop here above, while loop, and here this time the request, it will take the new request first, because here it is poll first and we are sorting on the basis of the destination flow. So this new request, it will get processed again. If suppose this is false, then the new request, it cannot be processed now, and the current request itself it should be processed. So in the current job, since we had removed the new request from the current jobs, we'll be adding it back again here, and also here we are returning false. So as we are returning false, therefore this for loop, it will continue as before, and we'll be processing the current request itself. Once this current request has been completely processed, that is, the destination floor has been reached, then here in the while loop we check if there are no more jobs in the current job queue, that is, no more requests are to be processed further by the elevator. Then we check the add pending down jobs queue to check if there are any jobs there. If there are, then these are passed to the current job queue. So here we have written a method named add pending down jobs to current jobs. So here below we have defined this method, add pending down jobs to current jobs. In this method we check if there are any pending jobs or pending requests in the down pending jobs, then we assign those jobs to the current jobs queue, and also the direction, we keep it as direction.down, else we keep the current state as state.idle, that is, no current existing jobs as well as pending jobs are remaining. In the start elevator method, we have seen the logic if the direction of the elevator it is in the up direction. Similarly, if the direction it is down direction, that is, the elevator it is moving in the downward direction, then similarly from the current jobs we take the last request using the poll last, and then this request we pass it to the process down request. So process down request is similar to what we have done for process up request. So here we have the process down request. So similar to what we had done in the process up request, we first bring the elevator to the source flow. Once the source flow has been reached, then from the source flow we go to the destination flow. The only difference here is that we are decrementing this variable I, since we are moving in the downward direction. Similarly, here we also call the check if new job can be processed. So here we check if the direction is direction dot down, then we do similar processing that we had done before. And also once the request it has been successfully processed, then here again we check if there are no more jobs in the current jobs, then we add the pending up jobs to the current jobs. So here we have written a method. So here we have add pending up jobs to current jobs. So here all the pending up jobs we pass it to the current jobs, and also the direction we change it to direction dot up, else we state that the elevator it is in the idle state. So these are the changes that we'll need to perform for the elevator class. So let us implement them. So here from public start elevator, copy all these methods. So go to the elevator class. Next we'll be creating a class named process job worker, which will be implementing the runnable interface. So here we'll be creating threads for this process job worker. This process job worker, it has a single field named elevator, which is of type elevator. So this in the constructor will be passing the elevator object and initializing this elevator field, and later in the run method of this process job worker we'll be calling the start elevator method. So we'll be creating a thread of process job worker and then calling the start method of the elevator. So let us create this process job worker class. Copy this, go to Eclipse. Finally, in the test elevator class we have the public static void main method. In this class previously we were already creating the instance of the elevator class. So now we'll be creating an instance of the process job worker which we had just created. It implements the runnable interface. That instance will be passing it to a new thread and then starting that thread. So we'll be starting this thread. So the run method will get called and the start elevator method will get called. So the elevator it will get started. So let us test this code. So copy this, and here after the elevator instance has been created, paste this. Let us debug and test the code that we have written till now. So here in public static void main, add a debugger point, debug as Java application. So here we have created an instance of elevator object. Also we have created an instance of the process job worker to which we have passed the elevator object. And then here we are going to now call t2.start, that is thread.start. In the run method of the process job worker, again add a debug point. So here when the thread gets started, the run method gets called and we have the elevator.start elevator. So just add a debug point here. So here we are in the start elevator method. Currently there will be not be any jobs because we have not added any request to the current job. So here it will be empty and it will return false. So this code it will not get executed. We'll be adding the request to the current jobs in the third iteration of this code. For the third iteration of the elevator design code, we'll be adding the logic to add the jobs to the elevator. So in the elevator class we have created a method named add job to which we pass the request which is to be processed by the elevator. If the current state of the elevator it is idle, that is there are no more jobs that are being processed by the elevator, then we set the current state of the elevator as moving. Also the direction we set as the direction of the external request, that is request.external request.direction to go, and finally we add this request to the current jobs. Also suppose we are adding a new request and the elevator it is currently in the moving state, then we'll be checking if the current direction of the elevator it is not equal to the request.getExternal request.direction to go. That is, suppose someone he wants to go in the up direction and currently the elevator it is moving in the down direction, then we call the add to pending jobs request. So here we call this method here add to pending jobs. So here we check if the request.external request.getDirection to go, if it is in the up direction, then this job we add it to the up pending jobs. Also if it is in the down direction, then we add it to the down pending job. Also we have seen previously that this up pending jobs and down pending jobs, they cannot be currently executed by the elevator and they will be executed later on. The next condition is that the request.getExternal request.direction to go, it is similar to the current direction of the elevator. Suppose the user he wants to go in the up direction and the current direction of the elevator is also up, then we check if the current direction it is up and also if the request.getInternalRequest.getDestinationFlow, if it is less than the current flow, that is the elevator, it has already crossed this current flow and it is moving in the up direction, then this request, it cannot be processed now. So we add it to the pending job queues by calling this add to pending jobs method. Similarly, if the elevator is moving in the downward direction and the request.getInternalRequest.getDestinationFlow, it is greater than the current flow, that is the elevator, it has already crossed the destination flow, then also we call the add to pending job request, so that this particular request, it is added to the pending job queues. Else this request we add it to the current job so that it will be processed by the elevator. So let us add these changes to the elevator class. So copy this add job method and the add to pending jobs method. Go to the elevator class. Previously we had created the process job worker class which implemented the runnable interface, and in this thread we had called the start elevator method of the elevator. We'll be creating one more class which implements runnable, naming it as add job worker. So this add job worker, it will be having the same elevator class. This elevator, it is a shared instance between the process job worker and the add job worker. The process job worker starts the elevator, whereas the add job worker, it will be adding the request to the elevator class which has started. So here in the constructor we'll be passing the elevator object and the request object, and then in the run we'll be calling the elevator.add job request. So create this class. So we are done with all the code changes. Finally, in the test elevator we'll be testing our code. So previously we had already started the process job worker which started the elevator. Also we had created the external request, internal request, and request one, which contained both the external request and the internal request. Now we'll be creating an instance of the add job worker class which implements runnable, and this will be passing it to a new thread and calling the start method. This will call the add job method of the elevator. So add this code. Let us now debug and test the code. So just add some debug points here. Also in elevator.add job and elevator.start elevator. Debug this as Java application. So we'll first be starting the elevator. So here start elevator is called, and here currently there will not be any jobs. Also here we have called the thread.sleep method. So for some time the thread will sleep, and then we'll be creating the request after the elevator has been started. So here first we'll be creating an external request. The person, he wants to go in the up direction from the source flow 0. So from this ground flow he wants to go in the up direction. He wants to go to the 5th floor, so the destination floor is 5, which we are storing it in the internal request, and both the external request and the internal request we are storing it in the request 1. This we are passing it to the add job worker, which we are passing it to a new thread and starting it. So here we are adding a job to the elevator. So let us add a debug point here. So here we are inside the add job, and the current state will be idle since there are currently no jobs that are being executed by the elevator. So we are adding this request to the current jobs which currently had no more request. So once this is added, then yes, check if jobs, it will return true. The current direction of the elevator, it is up. So we get this request from the current jobs. We go to the process up request. So here if the elevator, it is not on the source flow, so currently it is on the source flow, so it will begin executing the request. So it will check if new job can be processed or not. So currently there are no more jobs in the current job queue, so this will return false. I'll just return. So if we go to the console, we can see that it is processing the request. So yeah, it has processed the request and it has gone to the source floor, from the source floor 0 to the destination floor 5. Let us check now another scenario where the elevator it has to move from the 5th floor to the 0th floor in the down direction. So copy this. And here in public static void main. So let us again start the application in the debug mode. So here the elevator it has got started. Now we are creating the external request and the internal request. So the external request we have to go in the downward direction, and source floor is 5 and the destination floor is 0th floor, that is the ground floor. So we have created this request and we have added it to the add job worker, which will add it to the elevator job queue. So here currently it is idle. So now the direction will be down. We have taken this request and it is processing it. So here it will first move to the source floor, opening the door, and now from the 5th floor it will go to the destination floor, that is to the 0th floor. And yes, the request it has been successfully executed now. Hope you have understood this tutorial. There are many other complex scenarios that you can try, such that we are passing multiple job requests to the elevator. Even those test cases they will run. You can download the source code from here. Thank you.